Hey guys, I found another great, awesome YouTube video. It's called Another Top 10 Worst SpongeBob Episodes from Jim Reviews. And so yeah, I haven't showed you all guys this guy on the channel yet, but here it goes.
Oh boy, here we go again. Alright, so before I start this list off, I want to say a little something to you guys. And that's how grateful I am that you guys have helped this channel get to the point it's at. I have a few videos that have done well and have no doubt helped my channel grow a bit. Those being my Family Guy videos, my Cynical Top 5s, my Top 10 Best Songs list, and my Top 10 Best SpongeBob Episodes list. All those videos have done great and I'm really proud of them. That being said, the video of mine that has done the best, like it has done roughly 2.5 times as well as my second most successful video, was my Top 10 Worst SpongeBob Episodes list. Remember that one? The one that tortured me with animal cruelty, suicide attempts, psychotic breakdowns, and attempted murder? The list that was so hard for me to do that I had to see a therapist? And no cheap therapist either. A therapist that cost me $500 a week. Totally worth it, by the way. Well, because that video did so well, and because I still have like 30 other episodes that can be considered a top 10 worst SpongeBob episodes, I'm giving this video a sequel. Now, first off, I won't be including any specials. Like I've said before, those will be a best and worst list of their own. Second, I won't be including any honorable mentions I made in my first video. So that means the Splinter, House Fancy, Pineapple Fever, Face Freeze, Dear Vikings, and yes, even Stuck in the Ringer won't be on this list. And it goes without saying that I won't be including any episodes that were on my first video. So, luckily for me, I don't have to talk about A Pal for Gary, Pet Sitter Pat, To Love a Patty, or One Course Meal. So this shouldn't be too hard of a list to do. And lastly, I want to say to those people who hate when others criticize SpongeBob, I have three videos where I praise the fuck out of this show. And there's a 4th and 5th video coming in the future. Watch those if you can't handle someone criticizing the show. And stop bitching about people hating on this show, even though you know going in what this video is going to be doing. Now then, let's get this video over with. Number 10. Breath of Fresh Squidward. Now this episode has never really been considered one of the worst, but has since gotten a lot of hate ever since the mysterious Mr. Enter talked about it. And honestly, I'm surprised it didn't initially get a lot of hate because it's a very unfair episode. When Squidward finds out that SpongeBob and Patrick have been breaking into his house to watch the sunrise, he sets up an electric fence to keep them out. But instead, he gets shocked and becomes an extra optimistic, constantly happy, even more annoying version of SpongeBob. And basically, he gives SpongeBob a taste of his own medicine and shows him how horrible and annoying the things SpongeBob did to him were.
No one can come between us.
Hello, SpongeBob.
Ah, Squidward! Aren't you supposed to be out front?
I wanted to help you work.
What?
Squidward also ends up becoming very successful at work, even winning Employee of the Month. And everyone starts to like him. Something that's very rare to see for Squidward since this show likes to bully him. Now all this is really good, but the episode apparently decides it's wrong for Squidward to be happy because during the party thrown to celebrate Squidward's one and only accomplishment, SpongeBob ends up snapping and scolds Squidward before kicking him out of his own congratulation party.
Now he is a big fat favor. Get out, Bob!
You're a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that is what kills the episode. Now I will say this, 2 of this episode's 3 writers would go on to write Such and Come Symphony, one of the only episodes that gave Squidward a happy ending and let him actually keep it. So at least they managed to get that right in the future. But it doesn't make up for this sorry excuse of an episode. Number 9. Are you happy now? Okay, I'm telling you now, The majority of these episodes are very Squidward-centered. Now this one, I think, became infamous thanks to the creepypasta Squidward Suicide. To be honest, I have no idea if this episode got infamous because of the creepypasta, or if the creepypasta got famous because of this episode. Now this episode is basically about Squidward being depressed, and I mean clinically depressed, because he doesn't have a happy memory. Which alone makes no sense, because he's had happy endings in episodes like House Fancy and Van Geeks. And as previously stated, Suction Cup Symphony, where everyone chants his name and praises him at the end.
Yeah, but the real genius is the composer. Squidward! 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 Squidward!
Well, SpongeBob, much to my surprise, actually tries to help him out. And that's really nice to see. Now with that said, SpongeBob does end up kind of making things worse, but it's not intentional or anything, it's just a series of unfortunate events. In all honesty, this episode, in a way, seemed to have a decent idea of what it wanted to accomplish, which was to give a grown-up message about depression. However, it doesn't work for a number of reasons. One, they couldn't keep away from the torture Squidward for no reason whatsoever shtick. Two, the depression is way over the top. And three, this episode has a terrible ending as Squidward's happiest memory ends up being destroying and mutilating a bunch of papier-mâché SpongeBobs. Which just makes him look psychotic. Not even funny psychotic, like Teen Titans Go psychotic.
I feel wonderful!
But yeah, let's talk about why this episode is so hated. It's the fucking suicide jokes. Now, I would say my biggest issues with them isn't that they're disturbing, but that they aren't very subtle, they are poorly executed, and they're basically double-dipped. And any joke that does that, not just suicide jokes, but any jokes that repeat themselves in the very next shot, are automatically unfunny. The first joke, we see Squidward pop his head in the oven to pull out an entree. Yeah, that alone is kind of unsettling, but it's something I could very easily let slide, because it just comes and goes. But the shot right after that is the exact same bait and switch joke, just done a different way, and even more unsubtle. This time, instead of insinuating that Squidward is going to kill himself by carbon dioxide poisoning and instead pulling out an entree, he's instead insinuating he's going to hang himself, but instead, he's putting up a birdcage. And double dipping like that is a very quick way to kill a joke. So you combine that with the fact that they're both suicide jokes, and on top of that, they aren't that funny, and it's no surprise a lot of people hated these jokes. And I don't care if it's dark humor or it's meant to be disturbing. I've said before that this show has gotten dark humor right before. I don't care what type of humor these jokes are, they're bad jokes regardless. I'm sure there's a minority of people that like these jokes, and that's fine, nothing wrong with that. But the majority of people wouldn't enjoy these jokes. And yeah, that's why a lot of people can't stand this episode. But like I said, I do cut it a little slack for at least not making SpongeBob horrible in this episode, and for almost making a decent episode around depression.
I can't seem to get happy. Maybe this will help.
Oh, that's so sad!
Number 8. All That Glitters. Yeah, this is one of the earlier bad episodes of post-movie SpongeBob. To be fair, it's not the worst episode from Season 4, we'll get to that one eventually, but this was probably one of the first episodes of SpongeBob where they basically got as lazy as possible with it, and clearly had no idea what to do. And while just lazy writing isn't usually enough to put an episode on my worst SpongeBob episodes list, this one also has the misfortune of being very sloppy and very annoying. It's about SpongeBob breaking his spatula, and then, well, he does this. Yeah, that's probably one of the most annoying scenes in Season 4. It drags out too long, and it's unpleasant to listen to. I mean, you want to hear crying like this? Go to a Walmart and be there when a parent tells its bratty child they can't have a toy. You'll probably hear something very similar to this. SpongeBob takes the spatula to the hospital to get fixed, I guess? I don't know. You can tell they really just did not know what to do from here. But after grieving his spatula, SpongeBob ends up finding out about some new high-tech spatula, which is kind of a recycled idea from the pilot episode, it seems.
Oh, I don't think that'll be a problem, Mr. Krabs. In fact...
Les Spatula 3000 at your service.
That's right! One hydrodynamic spatula with port and starboard attachments. And let's not forget the turbo drive.
And he sells everything he owns, including his clothes, for it. And he spends the next 60% of the episode naked.
Nice outfit, SpongeBob.
Thanks, Squidward. It was worth every penny.
Well, it's not paying off for me. The spatula ends up refusing to make Krabby Patties and abandons SpongeBob. Because, well, honestly, I just think it's because these writers think French chefs are arrogant, cocky, horrible people. They did this exact same thing in Le Big Switch with their French chef.
For something. Au revoir, peasants. Have fun laboring in your crazy spoon.
I find you disgusting.
And SpongeBob's spatula ends up shunning him for replacing it because, well, either they needed something to fill an extra minute, or they just really loved SpongeBob's crying scene so much they felt it needed an encore. And then in the blink of an eye, the spatula forgives SpongeBob. Why did he forgive him? I don't know. Honestly, I challenge you to tell me how the story isn't somewhat sloppy. I really just can't make heads or tails of what they were trying to do. It's like they were throwing shit to the wall to see what would stick, and they decided to throw in the shit that didn't stick anyway. Well, let's move on.
All that glitters is not gold.
Number 7. Squid's Visit. Really, these writers scare me sometimes. I think they really believe SpongeBob is supposed to be a mentally unstable nutjob or something. Yeah, this isn't as bad or as psychotic as To Love a Patty, but it's definitely in the same ballpark. This episode is about SpongeBob wanting Squidward to come over for a visit, and he steals Squidward's vacuum to make Squidward come over. And when Squidward comes over, he finds out that SpongeBob has broken into his house so many times that he's perfectly memorized every single solitary detail of Squidward's house, and as a result, has made the interior of his house into an exact replica of the interior of Squidward's house.
He copied all 492 of my self-portraits, and they're better than mine.
I'm starting to think these writers miss their calling. They don't belong on a kids show writing staff. They belong on a crime thriller writing staff. Alright, come on, be honest. These writers could probably write a decent crime thriller show or something. But even if you got rid of all the disturbing BS in this episode, it's really just straight up underwritten and horribly underdeveloped. The scenes with Squidward in SpongeBob's house only take up half the episode, and the other half is SpongeBob crying, a la All the Glitters, and Patrick giving SpongeBob the idea to steal Squidward's vacuum. There's really nothing entertaining or significant about this episode. But, at the same time, it does seem like they may have used this episode as a blueprint for Squidward and Clarinet Land, another surreal episode that centers around freaking Squidward out, that works out so much better because of its really strong creativity and not so psychotic stalkerish feel. In fact, yeah, that episode had 2 of the same writers as Squid's Visit. So, I think this is another bad episode the writers at least learned from and corrected. So, I mean, that's definitely something worth noting. But it's still a disturbing piece of crap. Number 6. Trench Billies. Well, we're really starting to get into some deep shit now. This episode is about SpongeBob and Patrick falling into a trench and coming across some of the locals who live there. And who are these locals, you ask?
I'm too darn heavy, if you ask me. Doing my duty, just like every other Sunday.
Look at these fucking things! Have you ever seen a more disgusting looking design? For Christ's sakes, they don't even have pupils! Now I guess these are supposed to be designed after anglerfish, but they look like the regular characters this show usually has. Just with no pupils, broken teeth, thick southern accents, and oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
What was it y'all was doing down yonder at the outhouse in the first place?
No, that joke is too easy and too worn out. Now, this isn't the first time SpongeBob decided to make characters that are basically hillbilly stereotypes. The other time was with Plankton's family. But Plankton's family was at least fun and entertaining, and they managed to get some great humor out of them. Yeah, they were a bit stereotypical, but they were never too over the top. And on top of that, Plankton played the straight man, which made the episode stronger. This episode has no straight man. It's SpongeBob and Patrick just accepting what's happening to them without any kind of reaction whatsoever. So that also makes this episode ungodly boring, on top of being hard to look at and really annoying. So that kind of combination puts it on this list. But do I have any positives to say about this episode? Well, I will admit this. I do really enjoy this scene. Yes, I'm aware that the guy they're battling blows up and then Patrick gives this really demented look, but I don't know, I find this scene one of the only amusing scenes in the whole episode. I guess this episode is so bland and so hideous that one of the characters blowing up isn't even enough to keep me from settling with this as the only scene worth watching. But I'm surprised how reserved it is. I mean, they've been so over-the-top stereotypical with this whole episode that I'm surprised they didn't throw this in. I really don't know what else to say about this episode, though, because everything that's wrong with it is just kind of right there in the open. It's probably one of the few episodes that I would say just straight up speaks for itself. Oh, what the hell? One more time! Ah, damn it, that always happens! Number 5. Oral report. Now, first of all, this episode had a decent idea. No, really, I like this idea. But personally, I wish pre-movie SpongeBob did something like this because this episode revolves around public speaking, which is apparently the biggest fear amongst the majority of people. Yeah, even bigger than death itself. So if anyone could talk about a topic like this, pre-movie SpongeBob definitely could have. Post-movie SpongeBob, however, failed miserably. In this episode, SpongeBob has to do an oral report for school. But during work, he ends up developing a crippling fear of public speaking. So he enlists Patrick to help him, and instead, Patrick just eats up half the episode torturing SpongeBob and making his paranoia and phobia stronger.
Next. That's it! Yeah. Thank you!
I mean, I don't even know what to say about this guy anymore. I feel like I've called him every name in the book twice already. I just feel like these scenes speak for themselves. He has no motivation to do this. I have no idea why he even thinks this helps. I honestly just don't even know what to say about anything this guy does anymore.
SpongeBob SquarePants, what a mess you've made of my bathroom!
You know, I bet you anything Patrick got that outfit because he snuck into Mrs. Puff's home and stole it while she was sleeping. Actually, I think that would make total sense. I could definitely see Patrick doing something like that. Alright, I take it back. I guess I do still have some things to say about Patrick's actions. Anyway, SpongeBob ends up enlisting Sandy to help him, which I don't understand why he didn't do that first. And she creates a machine that allows SpongeBob to see his audience in their underwear. which is just so stale at this point. In any episode of any show that involves public speaking, they resort to that stupid underwear myth. I mean, they do put a little spin on it where Patrick breaks the gadget and SpongeBob starts seeing the underwear insulting him. But all it does is lead to SpongeBob having a breakdown and committing Grand Theft Auto, and this somehow results in Mrs. Puff getting arrested.
I'm afraid we're gonna have to take you in, madam.
What?
See, this is why I wish pre-movie SpongeBob talked about this. Those seasons tackled self-medicating, procrastinating, swearing, and many other interesting topics, and handled them in a creative, funny, clever, and subtle manner. I feel like public speaking would be another topic they could have excelled at. But no, post-movie SpongeBob tackled it, and all they did was use public speaking as an excuse to make more stupid decisions with Patrick and continue a long overused gag of Mrs. Puff getting arrested because of SpongeBob's wrongdoing. Just a complete wasted opportunity, in my opinion. Number 4. Cephalopod Lodge. Yeah, remember what I said about these writers thinking Squidward isn't supposed to be happy? Well, that's basically...
This video is a critique, which is...
Okay, guys, that's it for this video. So, yeah, bye.